I got in some new garden beds that I'm really excited about that are gonna make a huge difference with what I'm trying to do this year with my garden. Welcome back to Hidden Oaks Homestead. We are going into May and I really thought I'd be further along with my garden this year than I am. I'm further along than I was at this point last year, but I'm still disappointed with how far I've gotten and how far I wanted to be at this point of the year. But I got in some new garden beds that I'm really excited about that are gonna make a huge difference with what I'm trying to do this year with my garden. When we first moved here, we bought some fabricated raised gardening beds to be able to put stuff into the ground right away. The year after that, so that was last year, we built some beautiful big raised garden beds. Now this year, because the lumber prices are still ridiculous, I decided to reach out to some of our friends at VegoGarden, I don't know how you say it. VegoGarden is what I'm sticking with. And I got some gardening beds from them. So they have beautiful metal garden beds that you can configure and order however you want them and then customize them into whichever shapes you want. They got some really cool shapes coming that are not available yet, but I'm looking forward to that because I want some of those U-shaped ones. So I'm really excited about adding those. But in the meantime, I got some of the 6-in-1 boxes that they currently have available. All metal, easy to fill. We're gonna fill them Hugelkultur style, just like we did with the other garden beds, and plant my herb garden there. And I'm super excited about getting started on that because that's gonna help me really organize this space. One of the more difficult things that we run into here in Florida is the quality of the soil. So raised garden beds are amazing for here to really make a difference and keep in mind the poor soil that we have, being able to really amend what we've got here and put a lot of organic matter into it. With these new garden beds, we put them together the other day. The kids and I had a little competition going on who can do it the quickest.
First step is you take the film off. Then you assemble it how you want to. Then you put it together and then you're done.
I won, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah.
There you go. We got it. We put them together and then we started filling them up. Hugelkultur, if you're not familiar with it, it's really about filling your soil with as much organic matter as possible to give your plants a great start. So we filled our garden beds up with some yard debris. Basically, we've got it everywhere around here. We've got plenty of branches down. We got plenty of leaves. We got plenty of mulch too from when we did mulching last year. So really all we need to do is just go out there onto our land and get that stuff together so that we can fill our garden beds. The kids were sweet enough to go ahead and pick up some sticks. Every time we have a storm come through, we've got plenty of sticks and branches down, so all we got to do is just pick them off the ground and put them together. If we don't burn them, we'll put them in the gardening beds or mulch them up. So it's really great organic matter that's right here at the fingertips, at our fingertips, is that how you say it? Our fingertips, and we can just pick it up and use it, which is great. we'll be able to use a lot of that mulch for our in-ground garden as well. So the kids went and mulched all the corn that we planted, all the tomatoes that we planted, the potatoes that are in the ground are mulched and mounded again. But it's really great for the raised garden beds as well. Going back in a year or so, once that mulch has composted and the leaves have composted, it is going to make beautiful, loose soil. And with the soil that we're already putting on top, having already composted from last year, we have earthworms in there, we have life in there, and I expect to have the herb garden do really well in those garden beds this year. With my VegoGarden beds, I am getting organized with my herb garden, my kitchen garden, and some perennials. So I'm really excited to make this somewhere that is going to bloom a couple of times during the year and smell good, bring pollinators in, and just be a beautiful place for me to come and chill out, maybe read a book. I can't wait to see what the garden is going to look like this year once everything starts growing and expanding. One of the big things I'm doing this year is growing a lot more herbs, and I'm growing flowers this year. So that is a big improvement in regards to beautification for me. I'm excited to see those flowers bloom and bring some color and more pollinators to the garden. Not that that's the only way to bring them, but I'm excited to see some pops of color besides the vegetables and the fruit pop up. In addition to that, I have added more basil, more rosemary, more lavender, because we are in Florida, we have lots of bugs, and at least the lavender and the basil will keep some of those mosquitoes at bay. I have a lot of mint plants, lemon mints, peppermints, spearmints that are also going to help with that, and I'm going to take some cuttings and spread them a little bit more this year. In organizing my garden, I have a lot more building to do. I have some fencing to do, I have more trellises to build and things like that, but I just take it a day at a time and we'll make a little bit of progress at a time. We already got our first spring harvest in. We're already harvesting cucumbers, we're harvesting peppers already. We planted a lot of peppers this year, so I am excited to see what all comes out of the different kind of pepper plants we planted. I planted a couple more sweet peppers and hot peppers this year. We really are a big fan of peppers in general, so I'm excited to see how they turn out, which ones we like the best, and which ones are the easiest to grow and to take care of, because that's really, in my gardening journey, one of the big things that I'm looking for is easy to grow and minimum maintenance. I'm overall pretty organized and I like to plan ahead. So with the garden being as disorganized as it is at this point of the year, I'm a little disappointed, but I can only do so much with the time that I have on my hands. What I'm excited about is with these beds that we just got in, number one, they're going to last a long time because they're metal, so they're not going to rot away, they're going to stay here forever. We can reconfigure them if we want to, reorganize them and move them easily if we want to. And they're gonna help me keep my stuff organized and looking beautiful.
Ta-da! Why does that look like there's sponge under it? Push it down and
It's all the leaves, Betty.
it smells like mint though. So I'm guessing it keeps stuff away.
Do it. Looking good. Let me know what you are growing this year and how you're setting up your garden and how your gardening journey is going. I would love to hear from you and learn from you. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned a little something from this one on how I am looking to set up my kitchen garden, and I hope I will see you in the next video.